Yes, well, hello. Big week of BackChat as per usual. How's your little weekend gone, Dan?
Yeah, very good. Some great footy, some excellent footy to watch, especially from West Coast. But that was great.
You are a proper West Coast fan. You come in a bit miserable when West Coast don't go well. It's okay if Freo go well and West Coast don't.
Yeah, it's fine.
You come in a bit stroppy. You do.
No, you know what? For the rest of the season, I don't care anymore. It's done.
That's even better. West Coast. You know what? They're that bad. I don't care. I don't even go for West Coast.
It's not worth investing my energy in. Okay. We're just gonna. It's official. We're the worst team.
It was disappointing. I will say West Coast were disappointing. Freo very good though.
Yep.
All right, good. Yeah, you're right. Very good. BackChat, you know where to find us. BackChat, _, all socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. You can find it all at backchatpodcast.com.au.
Yeah, if you haven't been to the website for a while, just give it a look.
Yeah.
It's good. It's very good,
bit of an update. Yeah, I like it as well. Patreon members, hello. Thanks for being with us. Again, another week, another month. We love your support. You're doing great things. If you haven't checked it out, Whippersnapper Whiskey, discount code over there. A couple more discount codes coming very shortly as well. A couple of exciting partnerships to announce. Not this week, though.
Okay.
That's just a little teaser. But if you're not a Patreon, you can find that over at our website.
Sorry.
God damn. How do I not?
Patron.
Yes.
Yep.
But we love our patrons. Thank you very much. Whippersnapper Whiskey, looking after us again. Don't quite have them poured today, but we may just...
We will. I'm just, we'll get there.
Having a nice little sip of a beer at the moment, but Whippersnapper, best whiskey in the world.
Yep. It's official.
I will make the point, though, they weren't the best whiskey in the world when they didn't sponsor or partner with BackChat. Yep. They partner with BackChat, best whiskey in the world.
Yep. Shoot them to the stars.
It's not like chicken and the egg.
Yep.
Like what came first? Because
it
BackChat.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Because BackChat came second.
Yes.
And we made them who they are. No, that's a lie. They do great whiskey. We love them. Thanks for supporting us. Let's get straight into it. Fantasy.
Yeah.
How's the team? I feel
really
like we've improved this week.
Very good. Why don't we start with me, because let's start on a high. Not a single DMP did not play.
I love that.
I
promised I'll be positive about it this week.
I've said I'm making the top 100 by the end of the season. My captain went crazy, 276 points.
Ooh.
Dunkley.
Oh,
Best of the Bulldogs. Made that change last minute as well.
Dunk.
Yeah, this is a slam dunk. But yeah, good. I think I've moved up.
Really good. Well done. Charlie, welcome. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
How's your dream team looking?
I had a pretty good week myself. Jumped up a couple places. I'm getting closer to that top 100. I'm at 110 now.
Okay.
116.
Big boy.
I didn't captain Dunkley. I had McRae captained.
Was he okay?
He didn't get 100.
Well, that's not
good.
He got
88.
No, he got 88.
That's not good.
Yeah, I should have made the change.
Indy, Indy's in the house today. Hi, Indy.
Hello.
This isn't your podcast debut, is it? No.
No, I think it was last week, but
Okay.
I didn't speak into the mic, so look.
How's your fantasy team going?
I mean, we've covered this. I don't have one in.
Okay, I thought I'd just broach that again. I did remember, but I thought I'd ask and embarrass you again. Thanks for that, Indy. Appreciate you helping out again. If you want to make one, you can always be in it and then try not to come last. You could probably beat Kat. My team.
Yep. How's it going? Go on, tell us.
That's why I'm positive. I'm up and about. I've jumped almost 20 spots to 65. I've come from 86. I've come from 85 to 66.
Huge.
Yeah.
Well done.
Big jump. Big jump, Charlie.
86 to 65th.
There you go.
What is that? What do you put that down to? What have you done? Is it just your team's finally?
Yeah.
Okay.
The rolling starting to happen. Just was building quietly and nicely.
That's what I was doing.
It's not correct. Correct. I mean, it's not what I planned.
Yeah.
But we will continue to grow. And
Yes.
I had Dunkley captain, just like you.
Yeah, well done.
But more importantly, I mean, what we're all here for is to hear how the hot guy team is going, the hot boys team.
Yeah.
My wife, Alex, well, she's going very well. Didn't captain Bailey Smith this week. Big error.
What did he end up with?
Like about 93.
Okay.
A lot better than her actual captain, Petrarca, or as she likes to call him, Patricia. Don't know why. She doesn't know his name.
Pretty?
Yeah, Patricia. Petrarca. He got 70s. Real bad as a captain. Still in the top 500 in Australia, though, so can't complain, can you?
No.
She's moved into the top 10 of BackChat. She's into the 9th.
My goodness.
The absolute fucking scenes that will happen if Alex fucking Schofield wins this fantasy competition. I'll tell you what.
It's all a ruse for you to get to the grand final, perhaps.
I would happily say, I'm controlling our team. I'm making the decisions, and I've got two teams in the comp. I do not
Yep.
The jealousy and I dedicate my life to BackChat. Love doing what we do here.
Mm-hmm.
But the other dedication is to fantasy football. And my team's a piece of shit.
What's your team's name again?
BackChat Scully.
That's your team name.
Oh, I
That's
mean,
your
fuck
first
me.
problem.
It's
That's-
BackCat. What's yours?
Be my Valentine. This is creative.
You're a joke. Okay. Whip around. Let's go. Whip around the league. What's been happening? Roaming BackChat. I think it's going from strength to strength. If you
Yes.
haven't seen it, don't know about it, Charlie sends himself out. We don't even send him out there.
Yeah.
Charlie just goes, you know where I want to be? I want to be at the footy
Amongst
every week amongst the people because the people bring us the content. Charlie, roaming BackChat. Tell us about what is it? What is it?
What? So basically, I will grab a microphone,
Yes.
someone behind the camera, and I'll just run into crowds and I'll start yelling questions at them. And I got to be thankful for the line there at the Campfield. That's a great little spot.
You do seem to just hang around the slightly inebriated members of the Campfield.
Look, they're a little more forthcoming.
Good. It looks like it's a bit of fun out there, though. You had
It
any
is. Like I've
of
always got
love?
a smile on my face in it because I'm just having so much fun.
bit of
And
love? People getting around physically?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot
touching.
of hugs recently. I think I had about 6 hugs on Saturday night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Maybe
Hugging strangers.
take a business card out, maybe, Charlie. So I'd hand the number out, maybe? Or are they all blokes?
Yeah.
That's fine.
The hugs were, yeah.
Okay, BackChat, roaming BackChat. So Charlie heads out, West Coast and Freo, gets in amongst the people and just gets the content that we need. Like, ask Carlton fans, why did you steal Adam Shearer?
Yeah.
Not happy with it either, a lot of them.
Yeah.
But they lost. So, I mean, Freo win. Happy days. Absolutely flag mantle.
It's the new mantra, flag mantle.
The lid's off, mate.
I cut out like quite a few people saying that because it would have just been the whole 2 minutes. It's flag mantle.
The listeners of this podcast know that we've been very pro Fremantle this year.
Yes.
Now, I mean, you get a bit grumpy when they win and West Coast lose, but I don't particularly. It actually makes me
No,
sometimes
I
a bit
like
happy.
Fremantle winning. I just don't like the way the fans.
I'll tell
Carry
you what,
on.
the people who've been listening to this podcast know that the lid's off. The train's going. I hope you've booked your flights. Have you thought about booking flights yet, Charlie?
I actually was one of the people at roaming said it was $4.40 on Jetstar, and it's not
That's
bad.
a deal.
That's a good deal. I think that's one way, but do you need to come back after that?
That's a good point.
We'll never see him again.
Now, we got a little something we want to roll out, just something a bit new. Nice bit of, you've been
Bit of
working on this for a
something.
little bit.
I noticed there was a period of time, we're going to interview someone from an old West Coast team. I think it would have been Chad Fletcher. And when I was looking at photos of him, I noticed him wearing the most heinous West Coast jersey,
The Orca.
Guernsey,
The Orca.
in existence.
It's
It's
the-
that nice sunbursty
No, the
orange.
Orca. The orange, the Orca colour. It's like,
Yeah.
it's called the Orca, mate. It's,
Okay,
it's
I
one
didn't-
of the worst jumpers you'll ever see in your life.
It is. It is one of the worst. And I thought, mate, there have been some horrible ones. That's probably West Coast worst. Each team probably has one that you want to forget about. So I'm going to put together.
Carlton, the light blue M&M one.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
Right.
St Kilda had like a stick figure, like a little stick figure angel thing or a saint. Like it was
Might have been charity, don't know. Oh, you reckon it was like the Saints?
a saint. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is.
We'll steer clear of good causes and we'll go right at
Just
clearly just been poorly designed by the marketing team.
Yeah, that's right. And so what we're going to put together is a bracket of worst Guernseys in the AFL, one from each team,
Okay.
and we'll just battle them off one after another on social media. You vote. So it might be the West Coast Guernsey v the worst Collingwood Guernsey. Whichever one gets the most votes, that will be the winner of that little bracket, and it'll go on to meet the next person in the next
Is it
round.
kind of like a wild card round? Like if they lose the first round, they can kind of come back in another way?
No, what we'll probably do is give them some seedings, so one should beat 8 and, all that sort of thing. So that's going to be coming up on socials, but we probably need a little bit of help getting the worst because I'm sure we'll pick 18. There will be one that we missed. So if you know of a horrible, horrible design Guernsey, send us what they are.
BackChat __ on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can get in contact there or just email us, hello@backchatpodcast.com.au.
Every fan base would have that one Guernsey when you're like, oh gosh.
Why don't you
do
start
we-
something on Reddit? You get some content there.
Yeah, we'll do something on, like once the bracket's built,
I
we'll put it on
really
Reddit.
feel like you've been banned from Reddit. I really do because you don't ever speak about it ever.
It's because I know if I'm one post, I feel like I'm always one post away from getting banned.
You're like scared of the host. Oh, don't ban me.
Well, I use the site a lot.
Guy, who's the guy that ran MySpace? Who was he? The guy?
Tom.
Yeah, it's like Tom's running Reddit. Who's the Tom of Reddit?
Well, I don't know. It's bloody mods at RAFL.
Okay, so we're going to run the
Anyways.
worst Guernseys in the AFL
Bit of a
bracket. It's sort of like
Yeah.
the NCAA college bracket they do.
Yeah, that's right. There
I
will
love
be
that.
one winner at the end who has the worst Guernsey of all time in the AFL.
Great.
We'll find out who that is.
And and they will be crowned the champion.
Yeah. And we will find one of those and we'll put it up here at BackChat and we'll frame it.
All right, last one from the weekend.
If budget allows.
This caught, yeah, which is unlikely.
Okay.
Did something caught your eye?
Yes.
Which is good. I
Yeah,
like
so
it when
today,
you get a bit
Anzac
fired
game
up.
was awesome.
Oh,
It's
very
that good.
Yep.
It's that good.
I wrote little stuff for code. I wrote for what the day deserved. It was the perfect game.
Yep.
Both teams had a chance to win it. It was tough. It was hard. Highly skilled. End to end. High scoring. Had everything.
Had everything. It also had
Everything.
it had a 50-meter penalty, which I absolutely hated. Now it wasn't one of the arms up ones that's been in contention this whole season. It was Brody Grundy took a mark and was about to kick the ball to who was it? Who did you say it was? It was
Well, the guy on the mark was Nick Hines.
Nick Hines. So what happened was Grundy was about to kick the ball. He sort of faked the kick, and the man on the mark moved because he was about to anticipate the mark. And he didn't follow through with the kick. So then the umpire, because the guy on the mark moved off his line, paid a 50-meter penalty, marched him up about 40 metres out from 50, and he kicked the goal.
But he actually passed it off and tail out. Oh, did Grundy kick that?
No, he did. That was a different one. He got marched right into
So
maybe
to describe it
35
like
out.
even better, Grundy had it on the centre wing. He didn't fake the kick. He's a ruckman. So he was going to kick it to his player.
There's a lot that has to happen for the ruckman to kick the ball.
Ball, head to hand, say drop ball on foot.
Big long leg sweep
Kick
through.
foot to the right team, right? So he's going to kick it to his player. And in that time, Nick Hind is on the mark, highly intelligent, I'm assuming. He plays in the back line. Has gone, I'm going to cut this off. I'm just going to... But he was that slow in getting the ball from hand to foot.
Yes.
He was able to stop doing it, made Hind move, 50-metre penalty.
Yep.
And unfortunately, Hind reacted like, you got so shattered, but you kind of
you
got
can't
me.
give a 50.
What did you
from
think
that.
about it? Did you like it?
You just need if that happens, I think the umpire needs to go, hey, come back. You can't go you can't let a guy pump fake you in trick him into moving. I understand the rule that they want to keep someone on the mark and not move it so it's free flowing and all of that, but you can't because guys will start doing it. What if you pretend to have
They've already started doing it. They already
exactly, and that's just I don't like that rule.
It's is it like a bit like man caddy, like in cricket? You don't like the...
I've done that. But you give someone a warning. That's the thing. You don't do it the first time. You stop and you
You'd
go,
like to
mate,
see a
just
warning
let you
from
know.
the umpire?
Yeah, go, come back.
I'm not going to argue against you. I think the stuff that pisses me off is the instinctual stuff that's getting taken out of the game, right? So the hands out rule that I was blabbing on about last week.
Yep.
It's not I'm not trying to let players argue with umpires. You want to show respect, but it's just an instinct. It's not like I'm going to disrespect this umpire and argue with him, so I'm going to do this. It's literally just like decision goes against you. You go, what?
You're
What's that
confused.
for? Not confused. You can't put excuses for players right there. But the instinct, you got to have instinctual play in footy. It's no different to the stand rule on the mark, exactly what you're talking about. It's instinctive to try and cut a ball off if someone's trying to kick it to an opposition player. We've been bred to do that over many years of training. As a 6-year-old, you do that. So you get to the AFL and what you can't do it. Putting your hand up if you're in the ruck, is that instinctual for ruckmen? I mean, they can barely get their left and right boots on to get out in the field, let alone put their hand up. And the physical contact, the rulings, like Paddy Ryder got rubbed out for basically standing in the middle of the ground while Will Day ran towards him and knocked him over, hit his head. An instinctual move to be physical in the game, and we're taking it out. That's what I hate. I hate non-instincts and being like, this is the rule, this is what you have to do.
Yep.
Which I mean, you love that, no doubt.
I love the rule.
This is the
It
rule.
makes the game fun. The thing that it reminds me of is pump faking a free throw in basketball, right? If you go to pump fake the free throw and guys move in to grab the rebound, it's actually a foul on the free thrower.
But do the refs go, hang on?
Yeah,
they
they
can't
do.
do
They go, come back. But if an AFL player goes to kick the ball, pretends, and it gets the guy off the mark, that 50-meter penalty is not...
Leave the instincts in.
Yeah.
We just want instinct footy.
Yeah. Give them a 1 if they do it again, then give them a 50. But
And Dan wants West Coast to play better. BackChat bets.
just try.
Powered by Bluebet.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Oh, boy.
So, I mean, West Coast would disappoint. I think we need to move on from having West Coast in our multis.
Yeah, they'll never make a line big enough probably for some of
They
these
helped
listeners.
it. We won our first multi with West Coast at the line.
Yes.
Against Collingwood, right? Which really sucked us into a false sense of security because they've been just god awful in the last 2 weeks. So BackChat bets, thanks to Blue Bet, we put a multi together during the week after we've recorded this.
Yes.
Because we're having issues with changes that were happening during the week, COVID and everything else. So we put something together later in the week. So you've got to check our socials. If you want to get involved with it, check our socials. We get a bit of banter going during the week, a bit of banter over the weekend. Stay alive. Chuck $5 on it. Sign up on Bluebet. You'll find it on all that stuff. You know all the stuff I'm always preaching about. So this week,
Oh boy.
Will's pick, West Coast at the line. So it was 20 points. West Coast had a 20-point head start.
Yeah.
Did not help them. They
About
lost.
3 minutes in, I was like, okay.
Yeah, because they kicked the first goal of the match.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's 26 ahead.
74 minutes later, they kicked their second goal of the match. So, that did not go very well, and Port Adelaide absolutely belted them, over 10 goals. So, we were done and dusted before we even got started. But just to go over it, Charlie's pick.
Yeah.
Charlie, you've been actually really hot, mate.
Haven't dropped a leg yet.
Oh, Charlie.
Feeling pretty good. Watch him
Don't-
drop on this week.
I've jinxed it now, haven't I?
I mean, Freo to win 1-39. What I do like about it, you're not trying to get too inventive. You're not trying to pick the margin.
I'm playing it safe.
Yeah. Good. And we need that.
You need that.
You do
Otherwise,
need
we're
one
going to end up with
safely
an
in there,
impossible
yeah.
multi.
Because we go on and put on the next part of the leg, which was Jordan to go to kick 2 goals.
He had a pretty good game.
Kick 1.
Did he end up with 1? I thought he ended up with 0.
He kicked 1.
0-2. I checked you just before I came in.
Okay.
He had 20, I think he had 22, 25 touches.
27 touches. Absolutely dominated. Did not kick a goal. 0
He was
goals.
in the middle a lot.
He was 2 goals under what he needed to kick, which was 2. So we lost that too. And then you had to go. Dan's pick.
Yep.
What did you do?
Total score in the Anzac game had to be an even amount. And
The idea behind that.
1 point off. We're 1 point off.
The idea behind the even is total score have to be an even number. So it can either be even or odd. They're the 2 outcomes. It's
True.
It's a flip of
There's
a
no
coin.
between. Yep.
There's no higher priority than others. The idea was to be still alive coming into the last leg.
Yep.
And then we're all watching to the last second of the game.
We'll say this though,
And we would
right?
have lost again.
So it was odds, and Essendon had like a kick into the middle, and I was like, oh, if they run this down and they kick a point here, like it would be magical.
I will say this. Okay, I'll counter you saying this with. I'll say this. We're not betting on West Coast again, and we're not doing odds and evens. All right, we're going to use our brains. We're going to get a win for the people next week.
Okay.
And we're going to take down Blue Bet.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to the guys the week before. They were worried.
Oh yeah.
We're going to take them down.
Yep.
We're taking them down this week. No fines this week. I've got one actually. It's for you, Charlie. I don't need the story. I know all about it. We asked you to go get some fillet of fishes last week for me to eat, which is just putrid. Clearly, a disgusting burger, undercooked, barely fish, barely seafood. You went down to Macca's. You didn't go through the drive-through. You went into the store. Actually, why? The $2 fine for you. Why?
I couldn't say to another person, I want 3 fillet of fishes.
So you had to do the screen.
Yeah, the screen, that's anonymous. There's no judgment there. And I could just grab the bag silently and leave.
The good thing about using the screen with the fillet of fish is that area of the screen is so rarely touched that you only need to tap it lightly, and it's like the sensors are still fresh on that bit of the screen.
Very good. I reckon the screens would be able to smell a fillet of fish from a mile away. If you do want to send a fine through though, backchatpodcast.com.au, there's a little tab up the top, fines, a nice little table, little banner. You can find that. Send a fine in. It'll be fine. You
good.
send it.
We read it.
Okay. I like how zippy this has been. We've got a big interview coming up.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even told anyone.
Brownlow Medalist coming up. Shane Woewodin.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to be in the title of the episode, so...
Oh, they know, but I'm just saying, we're just whipping through it with it because I'm fanboying a bit.
Yeah.
There's not many Brownlow medalists rolling around. I'll tell you that right now.
No. How many are there?
Charlie?
80?
Don't go off the top of your head, Charlie.
I was going to guess. It's got to be about 90.
You'd think there'd be no Charles Brownlows before he finished playing. Like, they're not giving that Brownlow away before he's done.
You got to remember as well, there was a few joint winners.
True.
Oh.
And some
These are
back-to-back,
good quiz
some
questions.
doubles.
Yeah, it is. I'll find out.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Let's do You Send It, We Read It first. Andrew Vitalin's a very regular contributor to this section. We absolutely love it.
Hi, Dan and Scoey. Hello. Is it now the ideal time for the AFLW competition to be revamped? Sharing, starting next season, they could play under the now defunct AFL X rules. It could be then rebranded as XAWFL.
X-awful.
Car regards, Andrew. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, they're well too way down the line to make it a proper competition. If you watch the grand final of the AFLW, if you think the quality is not good enough, now, if you watch a West Coast play, it's not. They're not. But if you watch a West Coast play in the men's comp, their standard's not good enough either. Like if you put West Coast against Melbourne this week, they would lose by 20 goals.
Yeah.
Right? So in the AFLW, it's no different. If you watch the worst teams play, right, it's no good. The grand final was highly skilled. They played at Adelaide Oval, or Adelaide Melbourne. I think that's correct. It'd be terrible if it's not. Highly skilled, enjoyable to watch, decently high scoring for a women's match, and it was great to watch. So I don't think we need to go backwards. They're going to keep going forwards. I'm a bit concerned with some more teams coming into the competition this year that the talent's going to be spread too thin. You can't just create more talent. Like, they'd already be playing in the league this year.
That's
so
right.
Where are they going to get those players from? It'd be like if you came in and added another 2 or 3 teams to the AFL men's, the quality would drop as well. So
yes,
that's not a positive thing, but I don't think the answer is to make it like the T20 version of the AFL.
If you make it novel, people will sort of. I think that would turn people off.
It'll start turning into like the lingerie football league was an absolute joke. We don't want that.
No,
absolutely not.
I do like the AFLX though.
Right.
That competition was fun as, and people like shit on it a lot, and it was awful. But I just love that they gave it a go. And I'd like to next guest that we have that was in the AFLX, we need to talk about it.
We need to
Fifes Flyers.
Hey?
Fifes Flyers, the best team in the history of the comp.
Of course you remember that. What colour were they?
Oh, I want to say like they were grey or something, maybe orange.
Yeah, there was some odd colours, and they did the whole like walk in with the
Alex Rance came in on the hoverboard.
Yeah, I rate it. I got to say I rate it. I didn't rate it at the time. I was looking at the players like, look at these fuckwits, because I had to play against them. They come upcoming weeks, and I was like, I'm gonna. But now watching it as a fan, I'm about it.
Have you seen the new baseball league that's been going around? And it's sort of like a novel baseball league. So it's like the quality's high. Like, it's not just like amateur people. I mean, it's obviously people that are not good enough to play MLB, but they do like the pitcher is about to pitch the ball, and then a song starts playing, and the whole outfield are doing the same dance at the same time, and then they pitch the ball, and it's a strike, and the fans like get into it, and there's like a banana ball. Like, there's just all this crazy stuff.
That's good.
Yeah,
I mean, because baseball is quite a long game to watch.
Yeah.
Like 8-9 innings.
And it's boring. There's like 5% action time.
Unless you drink, then it's fun.
Yep.
Matt Harris.
G'day, team BackChat. I've raised this on socials once, but I thought I'd send my Dan Const style sporting achievements not on the football field. Nice. One of which is also relevant to the fines regime.
Wow.
Okay. 1. Part of unbeaten championship season for the University of Canberra Firebirds in the ACT Gridiron competition. Note, I am a lineman and I suck.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Congratulations.
Number 2, I got my 225 badge in 10-pin bowling with an absolute fluke of a 227. Note, never got close to 200 again. That's huge.
What are the badges? What level? What is it? 200, 225, 250? I mean, I feel like I should know this. I played under 9.
I think you get one at 75, 100, 125, 150. And so each time you get that score, they add another ring to your badge.
Like a karate belt. Like a black belt.
Yeah, but as if they added like the colours on top of one another.
Like a prefect pocket.
Yeah, and so there's like little rings on it, and you add another badge to it, so it dangles. That's epic.
Do you wear it while you bowl?
I mean, if you got a long one, probably want to take it off.
We need to do BackChat bowls, I'm telling you.
Yep, we will.
Bowling with BackChat. Holy shit. On the beers. Beers with BackChat bowling. Oh, my God.
We could make that happen. There's a very good bowling alley right near here.
Yep.
That's set up just for that.
Perfect.
Number 3, took 5 for 2 in the Bunbury B grade cricket comp, adults, but not a final. We lost the game, and I was fined $5 for taking 5 for 2 and losing. Note, I was also the captain. Very good.
That's a great fine.
Yeah.
That's a great
losing
fine.
while having a good score.
The boy's like, yeah, cheers for helping, mate. You took 5 for 2 and you still couldn't get us over the line.
Yep.
Show some absolute leadership, Matty.
Yeah. My question is, Was this fine fair enough? I blame my teammates for the loss. And you're the captain and you're blaming your teammates.
I love that attitude. It's everyone else's fault. You do well in the back line, actually, Matty. Is the fine fair enough? Absolutely. You questioning it, $10 fine.
Yeah.
Right? We've doubled it.
Yeah.
$10 fine. But lovely email, Matt. Very, very good. Anonymous. Oh, boy. This could be from anyone.
That's exactly what that means. Hi, boys. Love the show. Might even try a fillet of fish one day.
Oh, no. Read it. Read what it says.
Might even try a FOF one day. FOF, fillet of fish. Now, big question. Simo talks about team fracture recently in his interview. In my opinion, I noticed it when Tim Kelly came to the team. Players like Yo, Redden and Cripps wouldn't kick it to him. Seems like the other players were annoyed at the contract he was offered. If not, what was the source/cause of the team fracture? Something isn't right at the club. From a one-eyed, bloody, disappointed supporter.
Please don't use my real name.
Yeah, we didn't.
Okay, we did not.
Do you want to address the Tim Kelly not kicking to him because they're upset with his contract?
Well,
I mean that.
But the first one, Simo talks about team fracture recently. I didn't see that, so I can't really comment on that. Boys not kicking it to Tim Kelly did not happen. I don't know, may have seemed like it, but I tell you that stuff doesn't happen. The other thing that does happen is guys have better relationships with some. So Brad Shepherd and Andrew Gaff just hung out with each other a lot, and then on the field they would just know where each other were, and they'd seemingly give it to each other a lot. People give it to each other a lot more, but no one. It doesn't go the other way. Oh, I see Dan in the open, I don't like him. Not going to kick it to him. No, if he's open, so it'll be on actually you, Dan, for not getting in the right spot. If you don't get in the right spot, you're not going to get the ball.
Yes.
So if it's Tim Kelly not getting the ball, that's his fault. It's not the guy or the ball carrier, and no one's making a conscious decision to not kick it to Tim Kelly. Again, I don't know if there is team fractures. Something's not right at the club. I mean, their performance isn't going very well, so something isn't right at the club. You're spot on there. What is it? I think you're probably in the right areas. I think connection, relationships, love of the game. Those intangibles that you can't really measure are what makes good teams. So the good teams I've been a part of, they're all been really high points. As I look at the good teams in the league this year, Melbourne, just watch them play. Someone does a little spoil, 6 blokes will get to him and get around him.
Yep.
Sydney today against Hawthorn, they were down the whole game, and in the last quarter they just put their foot down, and they were the better team, and every goal that was kicked, there were guys coming and jumping all over their players and running amok all over them. You don't see that from West Coast. Now,
because they've got to get goals.
They're not kicking goals. You beat me to it.
Sorry.
But if someone does a good tackle, you're not seeing that from West Coast.
Yep.
I haven't seen – I saw a few times on the weekend, good effort. Bailey Williams crashes a big pack, doesn't mark it, kills the ball though, gets it out of bounds when he needed to. Not one person helping him off the ground. Just little stuff like that is not happening. Now, you've got to address stoppage work, contested ball, ground ball, connection with your forwards, field position, being able to rebound from the back line. They're all things. But how you actually turn all those things around very quickly is sort of the little 1%ers that just gets the overall feeling up and about. These guys know how to play footy. Luke Shuey, Elliot Yeo, Tim Kelly, these guys know how to play. It's not that they've forgotten how to play. They don't lose skill. Yes, they might be a little unfit, but it doesn't mean that you're going to go and lose by 60, 80 points to teams. I think the connection and the little things, and I'm visibly noticing them not existing at the moment, which I think I don't like ragging on my old teammates, but I don't think I'm speaking out of school there. I think anyone who's fair income about it at the footy club would agree with me, and may not like to hear it straight up, but I think I'm right.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's also been a rough start.
Yeah,
players in and out and stuff. But
they'd be the same. You can't just keep going, well, we had a bad start. At some point you have to move on and continue on and do your thing. You just got to do it. Anyway, said we'd have a little quick one because we've got Shane Woewodin, Brownlow medalist.
Yep. 200 gamer.
Just an absolutely remarkable career.
One of 108 Brownlow medalists.
There you go, Charlie. Look
108.
at that timing. I mean, 200 games, 2 clubs, Brownlow medal, best and fairest, come to the WAFL, coached an AFL team, did it all in 9 years, an AFL player, delisted by a couple of clubs, had it all. I can't bloody wait. All right, never been good on intros here on BackChat, so we just get straight into it. We're joined in studio by, I've got to say, after doing some nice amount of research on this man, it's one of the most remarkable football journeys you'll ever see, Dan. Shane Woewodin, Brownlow medalist, joins us. G'day, mate.
Huge.
Well, Dan, great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here. Look, it is genuine that you know all about it, considering you're the man who's done it, but it's got to be one of the greatest football journeys of all time. 9 years. I'll make eye contact with you, see how good my research is. 9 years, 200 games, two clubs, 2 grand finals, both losing, a Brownlow medal, a best and fairest. Somewhere in the middle there, you swap clubs. You come out of the system, you're still nominating for the draft. You play for East Freo, you win a best and fairest. You go and coach the club 2 years later at East Freo. You go from East Freo to Brisbane. You're an assistant coach at Brisbane. You coach their reserve side. And now you're here with BackChat.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
No, you're in fact spot on.
Mate,
To the letter.
It's remarkable.
Yeah, it's been a great journey, I must admit. It's been fun, enjoyable, hell of a ride. It really has been. And my journey and my dream was always to play AFL footy and get there somehow. And unfortunately, it was a couple of years later than what I wanted to, but I think it was meant to be. And I get in the system at 20 and mate, have 9 wonderful years, 2 extraordinary football clubs, and come out the back of it and played some footy and won a couple of awards and yeah, I've achieved my dream.
That's the other thing. 9 seasons, like, it's a long time, but it's not like you did all of those things over 20 seasons. Like, you really crammed it all in there.
It took me 14 years to spit out 194. It's taken 9 and got 12.
The math doesn't even make sense in my head that you could do that.
Now, I know that's important to get to, but we're forgetting our first question for our guest, Dan.
Just got excited.
Now, Shane, we asked the same question to every guest that comes on this show. Now, we know you've done a lot of great things on the AFL field. You're a Brownlow medalist. You're one of the best that ever played the game. That's fine. We're here to tell you we don't really care.
No, that's fair enough.
That's fair enough. We do. But we want to know your greatest sporting achievement, not on the AFL field. So you can play footy. Great. Very good. What can you do outside the realms of AFL? We've had Andrew Bogut's beaten Phil Helmuth in a game of poker. We've had Tom Hawkins is a under-17 high jump champion. Hayden Ballantyne could throw a javelin.
Yeah, he could.
I was an under-9 80-metre hurdle state champion, right? So you can go as long or as deep as you like here. Tell us.
Callum Sinclair was always the lead at his high school plays.
Yeah, he was the lead.
Apparently, he just dominated that. So whatever the field is, doesn't matter.
Cullum under primary intermediate sprint champion, year 4-5. Quick as a kid. Did it again at Linwood Primary in 5-6. Went to Broome, year 7, because my father was a CIB detective. Not even near it. Once you start up there and you're playing against some and running against some real fast Indigenous boys who were unbelievable athletes, and I knew I was up against it. So here I'm thinking I'm a great long jumper. I've got some speed. Nah, not even near it. So
that's what happens when you go to the inter-school competition. Like you dominate at your school. I mean, I used to get second a lot in 100 meters.
Did you?
And then one time the guy
don't strike me as quick.
No, it was a bit quick. And then the one time this guy was sick or something, he didn't run in the 100 meters, so I came first. Then my school sent me to the inter-school. I think I was dead last.
So I classify myself now as a mud runner. I was in my career. So, no speed here.
All right, there we go. Linwood Primary, 100-metre specialist, about under 7s, you reckon?
Yeah, it would have been 10, 11.
Okay.
Yeah, year 5, 6.
All right, we like that. Very good. You mentioned your parents, the old man was moving around. Is this your parents Ukrainian?
Yeah, so that's my stepfather. My mum and dad split when I was about 6.
Right.
My father, he was born in Germany and lived there for 4 years with grandparents who are Pole-Ukraine. So they left Ukraine or turned and ran back in the day. Went to Germany, stayed there for 4 to 5 years, had a couple of kids, and then jumped on the boat and fled and came to Geraldton.
So you were born here, or you?
Yeah, I was born Geraldton. Lived there for 10 years, and then made the way here when Mum and Dad went their separate ways, and we moved to Perth with my stepfather, who's my father now, has been for 35 years or for 40 years. I've just been tracking around Western Australia and
Sounds like you travelled a lot.
Yeah, we did early days, particularly primary school. I think I did 5 primary schools.
Wow.
Between Geraldton, Perth, Broome, and then got a cricket scholarship at Kent Street. Came down and boarded for year 8.
Cricket scholarship?
Yeah.
Can play.
Nah, just a little hack. Somewhere
Batter
there.
or a bowler?
Hey, I thought I was a batsman, particularly through junior cricket, a little bit of bowling keeping. But then as soon as you play seniors, so Kim Hagdorn was my coach at South Perth through district.
Wow.
And when the boys elevate and go to grade cricket, you boys bowl. And so you get a bat when it's pitch black and it's not happening for you. So, and then 16, made the choice. Oh. It was a numbers game for me. You're going to be the best 11 in the country or you got 1 of 600 chance. So I'm not playing cricket for Australia, not in that era.
That's a fair call.
Yeah.
So you mentioned off the top, you don't get drafted as an 18-year-old. You're a mature age draftee.
20.
I mean, this is what we're talking about now. I'm certainly banging on about it in the media that we should be adding more guys that got some more experience. How was that? Not knowing, was that were you developed enough at that 18-year-old? Why did that?
Looking back at it, probably not.
Yeah.
I think my 18th and 19th year, I missed 8 weeks each year with a broken foot. So I missed a fair bit of footy, but probably physically not ready. Whether or not I was technically ready for the game. I only played 3 senior games at East Freo in 95 and 8 the following year. So it just wasn't ready. And then I missed out on the 96 draft as well, but that was the first year of the rookie draft coming in, the inaugural year. But there was a few issues where the AFL it wasn't quite getting off the ground. And back then, the pre-season drafts were in February, a month before round 1. So that's when I was drafted. So I went over in January, trained for 2 months. We're going to draft you, we're going to pick you up, and the rest is history. And then I played round 1, 4 weeks later.
So, I mean, yeah, it's different to how kids do it now, and especially your trajectory. Like, so you go on and play over 100 games from debut, never miss a game.
Never missed a game. So played round 1 of 97. We beat the Kangas, the reigning premiers, by 4 goals at the G on the first game of the year. Round 2, get beaten by 107 against the Pies. But played 107 consecutively.
What do you put that down to? That's not usual, just for listeners and
Especially
watchers.
after 2 seasons of you broke your foot twice, right?
Yeah, I broke my foot twice, and then 97 played every game. I think it's a bit of luck, but also whether or not I deserve to play every game in my first year. There may have been some form slumps, but I was under Neil Baum, gave me an opportunity, started a few roles in that first year, and then he got the sack mid-year, and Joseph Gutnick, I think he announced it on Triple M about half-time of the round 6 or 10 game, rough there. And then Hutchie took over for the remainder of the year, our assistant, and then Dana's got the job the following year in 98.
That's Neil Danaher?
Yeah, Dana's got the job for 98. But 107 until a game over here against West Coast around, I can't remember which it was 107 games in, and Phil Matera just ran past me. It was just a bump, a little elbow, and I said, that's a bit sore. Anyway, went off, just thought my back was tight. Got some physio treatment where the real manipulation stuff, went back on, couldn't run, subbed, came back off. Scans the Monday, got a broken transverse process in my back.
Oh, and they've been rubbing that out, have they?
Yeah. Perfect.
That
was my first 2 weeks of missing footy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you came back after 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
That's a big injury, Dan, just so you
broken
know.
Back?
It's a broken back. That's why I finished up in the WAFL, exactly that.
You were 14 seasons in, though.
That followed you through a bit of your career, right? Yeah, back issues.
No, that was okay.
Okay.
A little couple of weeks just to probably get over it until you start getting the running going again. But that was my big one where I missed.
Yeah.
And then I broke my navicular, so the James Hird one. I did that mid-season of 98. Felt it at Amy Park, did a little run. Oh, that was a little bit off.
But the foot.
That's the foot. It's a big major bone in your top of your foot. And didn't really tell anyone, so I'll just see how it goes. And told the doc, and he goes, well, let's not scan it. Let's just modify your training. We'll just see how you travel. And then, so I'd collapse every morning, get out of bed with the pain. But as I trained and warmed up, it was all right. And then game, it was okay. And then foot in a bucket of ice every session. That was round 10. I felt that the first time.
What year?
98, my second year. And then I eventually had the operation a couple of days after the 98 prelim and went in, had 2 screws inserted. So I had a stress fracture, ripped to the navicular.
Needed to get to that 107.
Oh,
Needed to miss a game.
Yeah, so that were the major 2, and had a bit of tendinopathy of the upper insertion of the hamstring, 2000 going to 01.
Okay.
Right.
That were the major ones, really.
I mean, 2000, big year, 2000.
Yeah, Y2K
Yeah.
was a big year, and you did win the Brownlow as well.
Yeah,
That was also a significant time. On the playing rookies thing, you said that maybe you weren't really deserving of a game every week. Do you think that's sort of changed a lot now? Like a team's like really quick to sort of pull people out and not really just let them develop and grow? Because I mean, it sounds like if you think maybe you weren't deserving every week, it still helped your development to sort of progress through.
Yeah, I think it's important for young players to get a string of games to, they're not going to be stars in their first game or 2, and they might play their role, but they might not have the impact that what they probably expected to just yet. But having that 4 to 6 weeks where they can just get some continuity, get some consistency in their game, and feel like they belong at the level, and feel confidence they're playing against quality AFL season players is for them. So I always think, even when I coach WAFL and bringing kids in, you want to give them a stretch and give them a chance at it. And if they're not up to it, well, you push them back for a couple more weeks and then bring them back in again when they're ready. So
also hard with fans as well. Like I feel like the moment someone has a bad game, they're like, no good.
Oh, fans can be cruel, whether or not they're opposition or your own.
How was that for you? Did you cop a bit of that?
Absolutely. I know when I got to the Pies, absolutely, yeah, they were cruel on your own. And same with Melbourne. I remember when I got traded in my first game against the D's, and you go to pick up the ball from the sidelines and over the boundary line, you just got...
You can swear on this podcast.
Yeah, I got belted around the ears for leaving. Hang on, it wasn't my idea. I got sacked from Melbourne. So, yeah, and I remember coming off the race that Eddie had back in the day, and a Pie supporter, and screaming, "You coward," over the fence. But those passionate Victorian supporters, they just love it.
Yeah, they do. So we're going to get to you
jumping around a bit.
No, it's fine. Parting ways with Melbourne and moving to Collingwood a little bit. But 2000, big year, Y2K bug.
What do you remember of the Y2K bug?
Do you remember?
No, we're going to refresh the memory here of the Y2K.
Had to reset the clocks.
Yeah, so at the end of around 1999,
the
millennium,
there was this big thing that the whole world's going to shut down because our clocks aren't going to know what to do when they refresh.
Basically,
back
the
to
computers are going to get to 1999, and then they're not going to.
Once they go to 0, and there was people filling up their bathtubs on New Year's Eve because they weren't sure. I remember people
terrible memory,
unplugging toasters and stuff because they weren't sure if they were going to blow up. Legitimate things. There was this. I don't know. I just when we saw that won the Brownlow in 2000, I was like, that just reminded me of the Y2K bug, and you would have I don't really remember much of it because I was 10.
I don't remember much of what happened last week, let alone 22 years ago.
There you go.
Well, okay, so you go through 2000, you play in a prelim in 98. 99 is a bit of a down year for Melbourne, sort of up and down, probably until last year sort of signifies where Melbourne's been at, right? But we can't really say that anymore. 2000, you win a Brownlow Medal. Probably should start with that. Yep. I mean, what's that experience like? I mean, did you rock up Brownlow Medal night knowing you were a chance?
No. Mate,
you were 200. You were 200 to 1 at the start of the season.
Yeah, I came into 13s, I think, by the time the night was there. John Longmire was my manager at the time at IMG.
Was he?
Yep.
Manager.
John Longmire, Sydney coach. He left IMG for end of 02, or was it end of 01, for 02 to Sydney as an assistant, but he managed me at IMG. So David Schwartz got me from a management group and said, "Mate, come across to IMG." Wonderful. So you know what? Yep. You're bloody right, mate. They were very good. So he said, "Mate, just in case, have a speech ready. Just in case. You don't know, but okay." So I put one together, thanked a few people. I only intended to go to the night, have a few waters, be home by 10:30.
You're playing a
grand final in 5 days' time. I didn't leave the Crown till 1:30. And driven out the back, down below and John took me home.
Did you have any beers?
No, waters only.
Did well.
Because you win it, you get the medal, you're whisked behind closed doors just to gather your thoughts, and then all of a sudden you're thrown into the press room, which is another massive room, and it was just chockers for your press conference. And then you meet everyone back in another room, or your table and your friends and all the teammates that came in that night as well to say good day. Yeah. And then I didn't get out till 1:30 or something. And even then I went to the extras place too, because I couldn't go home. They were all lobbed outside my front door. Oh. So
there was door stopping proper back in the day.
Back in the day, and I probably didn't get my time again till probably late Wednesday afternoon, where I can finally now start to prepare for a game. So, if I had my time again, that's one thing I would not do. I'd make sure that Monday, Tuesday is me and my prep, and not have to go to functions and do all these things and do clinics, and it's ridiculous now. So.
I mean, but you've won a Brownlow. Like, sitting there on the night, there's clearly during the count, like, I've had one Brownlow vote in my entire career, so don't know what it's like. But you're sitting there and they're reading votes out, and you start realising there's a chance. Like,
You remember what round you thought, like, I'm on here?
Well, round 8, I'm at 15. And around 8, I bolted early, and I had a good start of the year and then plateaued. But when I plateaued, I think between rounds, 10 to 16, all the other guns, so Hurd, Voss, Rashudo, McLeod, West, Koutafidis.
Big names to beat out.
They weren't voting either. So I was in the mix with 3 rounds to go or 4 rounds to go, and then I polled a 3 at round 21 and then 2 in the last game against West Coast, which I went, serious? How did I get 2 in this game?
Must have been the tips.
You must. And that's where, because I had Westy polled 1 in the last round to tie me, and then I got 2 in the final game they read out to go clear. And
so it was a draw for that last game.
Wow. And I thought, I've tied it. And you're so oblivious on the evening that...
How old are you? 24, right?
24. You're so oblivious on the evening that 3 rounds to go, mate, my table is crowded with cameras. Crowded. Now they know for sure that you're possibly you're gonna win this because there's no camera anywhere else. So, unbelievable evening. It was just so surreal.
Who
Didn't
handed
expect
you
it.
The Brownlow?
Croft.
Right.
Yeah. So
99 winner.
99 winner.
Yep.
Caught up with Croft a couple of times post medal, just to pick his brain on. I was 24. I had no idea, really. I was still young in the game.
So
young in the game, and what to expect. And he said, mate, it's coming. I'm just going to prepare you for what's coming. And it was. It was on field, off field. My life had changed considerably from a footy side of things. And one thing, I didn't handle it that well. We didn't have much experience around that then. All our stars and big name guns of Melbourne had retired 12 months, 2 years early. So all my midfielders were around our age. So just to be able to lean on some real experience wasn't quite there anymore. So that would have been nice. But, I didn't handle it the way I probably would have. And if I had my time again, I'd do things a bit differently,
I'd say players like maybe Nat Fyfe or, some of the big names have sort of Brownlow clauses in their contract. Would that be right? If they get it, they get a bonus?
I reckon I would have had one.
Did you remember?
I
Was that
would
a
have had
thing?
one.
Yeah. You have...
It's big.
Yeah, back in those days, you get your base salary, but then you get incentives put in your contract. Top 5 Brownlow, best and fairest, all Australian.
IMG would have been looking at it.
So, like, nothing against like any sort of, if you're not expecting to win a Brownlow, is that even like, are you thinking about your Brownlow clause?
No.
So
no.
Not even Wowie.
Yeah, of course.
Don't look at me.
I'm trying not. I'm subtly trying not to, But so are there numbers like significantly more for like a lower graded player or something?
I don't know, but there is incentives across the AFL with All Australian, with best and fair club, best and fairest. Yeah, all of that. Like it's like any industry where it's incentivized for a performance. Like you need to perform as a player. So when you go out and do that, and you win a Brownlow medal, and you're the best player in the comp,
you get a little kicker in the long way.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's also undeniable. there's a lot of commentary about you winning the Brownlow and you're beating all these great players, and the players you beat. But it's like winning a grand final when some say you're not the best team. You're the fucking best team and you're the best player when you win the Brownlow.
Yeah,
I don't know if you see it that way, but that's how I see it. I look at you win the Brownlow, it's like, well, that's it.
Yeah,
argument over.
We felt at that time we were the best. Well, we weren't the best team, but we were very confident we could match the best. We only had to beat Essendon that year, and we had a massive run at the back end to, I think, won the last 10 of 11 to storm into the grand final. And a young team, we've had all our draftees that year playing in the grand final, and they just physically bashed us, took us to town in that area.
They were more experienced.
Oh yeah, they had big bodies, hardened, and they were filthy on 99 in their exit in that prelim.
Yes, Carlton.
Carlton. Yeah.
I remember that 2000 grand final. There was a big hit or a big clash with someone.
Yeah, so Troy Simmons was knocked out by Michael Long.
That's right.
Got 4 weeks. Brad Green was in hospital at quarter time with a broken larynx. Ooh. Dean Wallace just went whack. And it was on. It was spot fires everywhere. And I remember having conversations with Neil post when he was at West Coast and caught up with Coffee a couple of times and just chatting about the time and the week leading up, and he said he would have done things differently. You know, was it physical, go Essendon that way? He was thinking of training differently that week and bringing in more the press with a week to go. We hadn't trained it, never trained the press, but that were his words. Right. Let's try and throw something completely different. Right. Whether or not he thought we could win it or not, who's to know? But you did just go about it your own way and try and beat them the way that we'd normally done. We had lost by 4 goals during the year, but on the day we started really, really well. I think the skipper missed one from the goal line. We missed a few set shots early. We felt like we were in it, but then all of a sudden they flicked the switch and away they went, and the game was done by half time. We lose by 10 goals.
That experience of them losing 99 prelim, even though it's not a grand final, that they were
hungry, driven. Yeah. They lost the one game during the year. I don't think they'd sung the song at any of their victories all year. Wow. That's the whisper I heard. So they wanted to win it, and and then as the best player in the comp, it was voted that year. There's been some funny stories. I remember walking off the ground when I was at the Pies and we played Brisbane in Brisbane, and I was walking off and having verbal stoushes with Johnny Brown and Michael Voss. And I can't remember which one of them said it, but one of them said, "You are the worst Brownlow medalist ever." So it might have been Brownie. And Brown and I are good mates. I've had some wonderful times. But, yeah.
Did you ever come back for that? I mean, it's pretty simple for mine, isn't it? How many Brownlows do you want, Brownie?
That's one more. Yeah, I can't remember if Vossi said it or Brownie, but
Vossi's
good mates. Yeah. He was a very good player. And that's been part ever since. I've had the one really, really good year, and then the also rans on a few other years, and not as the consistent. That's probably where my... Looking back at it on reflection, just the consistency wasn't there year in, year out. Like I struggled post 2001, and because tagging was such a big thing back then, and there was no such thing as systems.
Team defense.
The ground was long. It's 1-on-1, and if you've got a tagger that can run and be brutal on you, and it was big in those days. So, copping attention every week. I remember. First practice game of 2001, we played Richmond at Princess Park. I started on the bench because I had to interrupt the pre-season. I only started training in Feb, and walked on the ground 10, 15 minutes in, and Steve Ziller, who was at Richmond, who was their tagger, he was on the bench too. Straight on, locked on. Here we go. Wow. This is going to be a year. So I went, righto. Wow. We're in a practice game here. just go and have a kick and have some fun. Nah. This is the way it is. So, yeah. The learnings from that were huge for me.
Do you look back at, winning a Brownlow and you win the grand final, and you're playing another losing grand final for Collingwood later on, but do you look back in 2000 fondly?
Yeah, absolutely. We're probably 2 years ahead of our time. Yeah, we got to the summit. We just didn't put the flag in the sand and really hoist it. But I was really proud of the group, how we responded from 99. We came together in Mexico on the footy trip and make a stance and go, we're going to train here. Cancun.
Unreal.
Greatest place on earth.
West Coast 2012.
Yeah.
How good.
Best footy trip we've ever been on. And we're going to set the scene here, and this is going to be our year. So we got back and got to work, and we had a wonderful year, had an unbelievable year. It all just clicked for us and just couldn't replicate it the following year.
So jumping well ahead here, what's it like? That was the last grand final Melbourne's played in 2000 since 2021. The grand final's in Perth. I'm assuming you commentated. You would have worked the grand final here.
I was asked to commentate. I knocked it back.
Really?
I was rostered on. Week and a half out, I rang Clint and said, mate, I'd like to be a spectator in this one. I'd love to pass it up. And he understood. There was no problems with that. I wanted to just be a punter and just go and enjoy the experience and just soak it all in.
What was it like being involved in that last grand final? And look, you end up leaving Melbourne, and it was quite a public separation effectively. Yeah. But you were a Melbourne guy. You were drafted by Melbourne. Your son's now.
Yeah,
father.
I'd fallen out with Melbourne. Let's be honest. And I didn't. And I haven't really been back and really until just before. Effectively, Taj was drafted. And I had chats with Danners a few years ago, and we sorted things out. So it's been a long time. There's a lot of scars there. And it's hard. I felt it hard to move on from as much as you do, and you move clubs and you form new relationships and whatnot. It stung.
Why?
I was vice captain. He'd come off a best and fairest and a Brownlow 2 years later. And all of a sudden, you're not wanted. And all of a sudden, they put you on the trade table. You hear it from it. You hear about it when you're on your footy trip. And then you come back, you have a meeting with the coach. Everything's fine. You shake hands. We'll see you in a couple of weeks in pre-season. Never step back in the footy club ever again. So we went to Mauritius and South Africa with my fiancée at the time. And then it all went through then. So it was a horrendous time. I was trying to relax in Mauritius and have a bit of time and tan up and enjoy the hot weather over there. And I come back and I'm a Collingwood player. So, it was a horrendous time. But then when I walked back into the Collingwood Footy Club, I loved it. So I look back on it now and go, as much as I called out that I want to be a one-club player, I look back at it fondly now and go, I played at two very good footy clubs, historical, big. I got to experience both. Melbourne was struggling financially, walk in the Junction Oval, the sewerage is leaking, we've got a three-legged card table, we've got killer pythons, tubs of yogurt, Coles muffins, post-training, and then I go to Collingwood and I spent 18 months at Vic Park, but, and the first thing that's asked to me when I get screened is there anything in this gym that we haven't got that you need? I went, righto.
Wow.
Well, this is a good start.
That's different. Right.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden lunches are made out, and then I go to get the Lexus Centre in 18 months and I go, I get to experience this. So, and I had a wonderful time at the Pies too. Unfortunately, only 3 years, which I didn't sign up to be just 3 years. I wanted to play another, 4 or 5, but it just didn't work out that way, and it was done. Back
on the Melbourne Collingwood split. I mean, in hindsight, I think always you probably look back at most things in life fondly, right? Not just you, but me and everyone else. You sort of, in hindsight, it's a beautiful thing. It's like I learnt and I grew, but if you take yourself back to at the time, like it was personal, right?
Personal.
And public.
Yep.
It wasn't like behind closed doors, it was public. The fans were involved. Melbourne fans were filthy.
Yeah.
Collingwood fans were, I guess, happy to an extent. What was it like personally?
Yeah. I came back here and I had a Brownlow function at East Fremantle, and the 5 West Australian Brownlow medals were together, and there was a frame made up. It was a bit of a special occasion. And then the media were interviewing me then, and I let it rip. Yeah, I'm filthy, not happy, not how it all played out. Coaches revealing your salary in the media, not ideal. So, so it was bad blood, and it took me. We didn't play the Melbourne till round 12, so you carry all that pent up anxiety, anxiousness. That many emotions were running through. So 12 weeks to get there, and then when you run out against your old club, they were wanting blood too, mate. The captain was coming at me Yeah, it was really a surreal feeling.
Why? Can I ask?
Don't know. Like there was one occasion there.
You didn't want out, did you?
I didn't want out. No, I
That's why it
pleaded with
hurt
the
so
club.
much, right?
Yeah, I pleaded with the club, but they were really like taking pay cuts. Happy to do it. I went 3 times, and then eventually you just go, you know what? Enough's enough. How much more do you want? And then I thought, well, it's never going to be enough. They just want me out. But then the Pies got wind of the fact that I'm on the table, and then you had a club, Bucks, Eddie, Mick, Barmy, ringing me up in Mauritius, wanting me. So you felt you wanted by one and really wanted, and then you just. So when you go back and you walk back into the Melbourne club, are you? And I had 2 years on the contract, so I held the cards. But I said, bugger it, I'll take a hit, and I'll go to the Pies. I'll get an extra year, and see if we can make it work. I walked out.
And you reckon that's taken till Danners came over here and was working with the West Coast, and you
it was
able to sit down
post that. It was probably only about 3 to 4 years, 3 years ago. So I was living back here.
Yeah.
So maybe 18, Danners came over. I got a call. I rocked out to my driveway. I got a call from David Needs and said, mate, the coach is coming over. He wants us to catch up. So I went, righto. Why can't he ring me? So I caught up with Danners in Scarborough. Had a coffee for about 3 hours. Chewed the fat for a little bit of time. Went over the whole thing. He was going to... bit of it was he was going to write his book, and part of the chapter was on leadership because it was for his grandkids when they grow up. And I said, yeah, no worries. And and part of it, 3 pages of it was going to be my trade.
Yeah.
And so we just spoke about that, and he apologised. And he said he was sorry, which we felt really good. A bit of closure. And I know it's a long time ago, and we probably should have done it years and years ago, but we didn't. No one picked up the phone, and then this occasion we let the dust settle and put it all on the line, and he goes, mate, should never have happened. I didn't have enough control. I regret it. So
I owned it a bit.
He owned it.
Yeah.
He owned the decision. And he's the coach. He's not the list manager or footy manager at the time, but he owned it. It should never have happened. So, yeah. And I reckon it was the start of the rut of Melbourne. And then Leoncelli goes, Powell goes, Uze, Robertson. So the experience of the club started to get shown the door. They're good players. They should be able to go off in their own right. But they made list decisions, and it's only since the last 3 or 4 years that the club started to now make hay, and it's been terrific. So, it was great. It was a great conversation with Neil because we had great times at the D's together. He was an unbelievable coach. He was my best coach. And we had fun, and we achieved a lot together. So it was good to be able to let bygones be bygones, let the dust settle, and shake hands. And on reflection, I look back now, 2 great clubs, great career. Let's move on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to do when you're in the time.
At the time, absolutely.
You get here and
it's emotional as a player. I reckon. When you're playing the game, it's emotional. You're all in where you're at and what colours you wear. So. And it was, it's a bit different feeling when you're coaching compared to playing, and decisions to make and what you've got to do for your club and your team. So that's something I certainly learnt too when I coached on the other side.
You feel like as a player that, everything you do is for the club. Like even, you're putting your relationship on, basically on the back burner, your children, your businesses, you're throwing everything comes first. You don't go out to drink because you got to, everything is for the club and to win games of footy. Yeah. So I fully understand where you're coming from. Yeah. I mean, I didn't go through what you go through, but it's a similar feeling. You want to be wanted.
Absolutely.
You want to felt wanted because you feel like you're given everything. So give it back, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I remember the AGM that year too, and I was at home, and Diane, my fiance at the time, she went to the AGM.
It's a bad decision.
Hey?
Because
because she had good support from friends and colleagues and people within the footy club. So she wanted to speak. She wanted to.
Good on her.
She got up to the lectern and was shut down. So wasn't allowed to speak. So can't remember.
Whoever's running it.
Who was at the time running the AGM? I didn't go, so I didn't bother. It was done and dusted. It was gone. Let's move on. So, and I remember when I walked in, I'm not sure if it still happened, but your 8-week break, you had to come back 4 weeks in to test 2KR, skinnies back in the day. And I walked back in and meet the boys.
Not allowed to do that anymore.
No, I did.
Break. Don't speak to the player. Don't speak to the coaches. No speaking to the players.
Come back in 4 weeks in, and it was a good opportunity for me. Back from holiday, meet the players, say good day, and I meet Noel Judkins, who's the head of recruiting, and he said to me, "Mate, welcome. We're rapt to have you, mate. You know what? You were offered to me grand final morning at the fence at the MCG." So I went, what?
Boy.
Yeah. So
Well, that sums it up.
Yeah. But it was.
It sounds like you've buried the hatchet, which is
absolutely, yeah, mate. And I look at my 3 years at Collingwood. As much as I would have loved to have 5 or 6, mate, unbelievable times. Second grand final, I got to play with some bloody good players, and probably the best that I played with in Bucks. He was a superstar, and I learned a lot, and I learned where standards need to be. And I thought I trained hard, and we trained hard at Melbourne. I got to Collingwood; it was another level. Really? So,
who drove that? Bucks.
Bucks was phenomenal. He taught me even to go even more. So, drive high standards, become the best player, and that's why he's a champion. It's the way he trained and put himself out there on every session to be the best player he could be and lead from the front. That's why he was a superstar.
Did you ever, considering the situation, did you ever consider moving back to WA and, with everything going on?
For real interested?
Yeah. I was lying on a deck chair in Mauritius.
It's like on the trade phone, on the bat phone.
In the CJs, in the Dickies. It was all about that. It was about no tan lines back in the day. It was no boardies when you live in Melbourne.
I think Bailey Smith's bringing that back.
Yeah, I reckon. Budgies are big now. Not sure how big they are on the beaches and Cot, where it was back in our day, and in Port Phillip Bay. But I was laying on the deck chair,
Port Phillip Bay,
in your
absolute putrid
in your
beach.
budgies,
Right.
freezing in the middle of winter.
Seaweed.
Laying on a deck chair, I got a call from Cameron Schwab, who was the CEO at Fremantle. He said, would you come home? Would you be keen to come home? And I went, well, hang on, let's put another spanner. I thought I'm possibly going to Collingwood. So I rang my manager, who was Liam Pickering at IMG. So him and John had swapped, their best mates. So Pickers was my manager. And he said, nah, mate, Free, I've got no money, not happening. There's no way that's happening. They've got nothing. I don't know what they're doing. So I said, well, you handle that over there. And I'll just keep sunning myself here and deal with the shit that I've got to deal with here. And so, no, I didn't go. So from then I was wondering if Melbourne, because Danners is tight and close, and Melbourne with Schwabby, who's an ex-Melbourne person.
I was going to say he was ex-Melbourne.
Ex-Melbourne CEO, footy manager. So that didn't eventuate. So I went to the Pies and finished the career.
So you go to. I mean, before we finish on Melbourne, you fast forward to 2021. So you don't commentate. You watch it as a fan. Melbourne break the drought. What's that like from an ex-player?
Loved it. And but I've been part of Melbourne, although not internally with the club over that journey. I've been involved with the past players, and like every Thursday night before grand final, we get together with a dinner and a few beers at the G every year. It's part of the past players and now officials association. When we catch up, come ex-players, MC, we get a bit of, we might get a bit of music happening in there. Robbo might play guitar. He might MC it. We'll get a comedian in. But we just have time. And my era at the Ds were the best. I come from all over the country just to get there and spend the time with each other. So it wasn't as if I was out, but they're my best mates. So and we never lost that. So those friendships were there forever. So the past players led by Rod Grinter, who's the chairman, he just connected everyone. So you still have that soft spot for the red and blue. And the grand final was just unbelievable. Although I thought Treloar and Bont were going to rip it away from us there for a period until the third quarter. And then for me, surreal feeling sitting in the third, just going, what's going to happen here? This is going to be a train wreck and we're going to destroy these blokes.
I was calling the game, right? And I was telling you before, you don't get too many words in over at 6PR, but I was sitting there calling and I don't remember too much. I don't have great memories with different things in footy, but I remember sitting back in my chair, putting my hands on my head. Bulldogs Bont had just kicked that snap.
Yeah.
And they were 3 goals up in the third quarter. And I was thinking, fuck, Bulldogs are going to win this game. Like, Melbourne are the best side by that much. I tipped Bulldogs just because I was talking shit all week about Melbourne, you know. But Melbourne were the best side, and I just thought they've done this here.
Yeah.
And in the space of
2 minutes,
2 minutes, and I didn't say one word for about 3 minutes on air because I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, Western Bulldogs were like home. It was done.
And then
Melbourne fans and Melbourne people would have been like the same thing.
Yeah, we're shitting ourselves. We're going to do this again. Oh my goodness! And we have been the best all year. And then they flicked the switch and away they went. And it was extraordinary amount of footy to play. And then Siren went, watched them get their medals and then race down to the rooms and get in the rooms and be around. Because they couldn't have families around. And Adam Uze is a coach, good mate of mine. Taj and his daughter born 2 hours apart. So we've been mates for years. And he didn't have his family here. So to get down there and celebrate with him, a couple of my teammates have come from South Australia, just to enjoy and embrace that hour and a half in the rooms and have a few furfies with them was unbelievable. Yeah. And you felt, I'm back in this fold. This is unbelievable. This is what it's about.
It's not like winning one, but it's like winning one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
seriously?
Absolutely. It was just, I was wrapped for past players, our supporter base who have been there through everything. You only got to look back to 13, 14 when they were getting belted by 200 against the Cats at Kardinia Park and everyone who's gone before, they were passionate Melbourne people, 57 years, a long time, and broken. And now you can only hope that this team can now create their own dynasty and do something that maybe the Geelong, Brisbane and Richmonds have done in the past, and I'm hoping that's the case.
It certainly looks like it. I mean, they look unbelievable if we're talking about footy, which we do a bit on this pod, but like they just look like superstars. Yeah. So I hope they go on and proper dynasty. So Collingwood. So there's the very public split from Melbourne to Collingwood. You start at Collingwood, great facilities, rich. Not you, but maybe, but them. It's a wealthy club. It's a big club. It's the biggest club in the country. Grand final in 2003.
Yeah, my first year there, second one.
So a lot of people say that you've got to lose a grand final to win one. Now, I don't necessarily think it's right, but the experience you had in losing the grand final with Melbourne, did it help in 2003? Given that it wasn't the same teammates, I realise.
Yeah.
But you personally?
Yeah, it certainly helped the finals and leading up the week. I reckon the week's a big week.
Yeah.
And now that you're at a bigger club, the week's going to be huge. And we had to go through a bit of motion that week because prelim we played Port, knocked them off. Anthony Rocker got suspended. And
really?
Yeah,
what for?
Striking. I can't remember what he was striking. Anyway, he got rubbed out So there's the emotion there that he's gone.
And he was a very good player.
Very good player. Important player for us. Yeah. He's a beacon. And you need your bigs and your presence, and he had it in spades. Yeah. So we lose him, and then we appeal.
That's right. It went to like federal court, didn't it?
We went all the way. Yeah. We appealed, so then
Eddie would have been all right.
Appealed it. Boys' emotion, get up again in hope. When he's one of our leaders, we want him out there. That doesn't go to plan. Emotions again change. So this is all through the week. The Thursday before training, he stands up in front of the playing group and apologises to the boys that he's not going to be out there.
You crying?
Yeah, he's emotional.
Yeah,
the boys are emotional. Probably not the ideal lead-in. We want to be steely and resolve, and we've got to win this because we're favourites. We beat Brisbane in the qualifying, straight through to a prelim, knock Port off. We're going in, and Brisbane are hurt, injured. Lappin's having the big
his ribs or his
ribs,
back. Yeah.
broken ribs. He's getting worked over by Chris Scott, who's emergency pre the game, and we get belted, absolutely belted off the park. Everything that went wrong. Ball didn't bounce, guys shirking it. And got beaten by 10. And yet we're favourites going in, so it just wasn't to be. And that was really unfortunate because 0-2 they were close, should have won it, could have won it. lost by 9 points against Brisbane. So the whole playing group was experienced enough to go, we're here again.
Right, they lost in 02. Right.
To 9 points in the sort of a wet day.
Yeah. It was Anthony Rocker that kicked that goal, went over the post, right? Called a point.
Yes.
Goal.
Yeah. And then Ackermanis crumbs one in the goal, top of the goal square. Lucuria went to the side, didn't go ground level cover in front of him. He snapped it over and put him 9 points up with 2 minutes to go and game over. So, so they lost 2 in a row.
How do you reflect then on the 2 grand final experience, in total?
It's the one thing that I don't have that, and I'd give my Brownlow back in a heartbeat to have a premiership medallion. And that's what we play for. That's what we all play for, and I don't have one, and it's the biggest regret. I had 2 cracks at it, and that's the one that probably more so than the Melbourne one, we should have won. I reckon we're the better team, but we just didn't play the best footy in the day. Brisbane were harder and hungrier, and they deserved their glory.
What do you remember of your first Anzac Day game playing for Collingwood? Or do you remember any of those in particular?
Yeah, 03. I remember James Hird cutting. He kicked 5
from the midfield.
Yeah, 27, I think, nearly 30. Kicked 5, and I think Bucks had high 30s that day. 2 kicked 1.
They playing on each other.
No, but Hirdy was unbelievable. Kick 5. Medalist. I think it's 03 is the one where I'm not sure if you've seen the vision. We come out from the Great Southern Stand side then. The new change rooms weren't built back in 03. The Ponsford was not there, so it was a big win that comes through. 3/4 time, I reckon Mick sat us down in the huddle. So if there's a vision, we're sitting down.
We're going to find this, Dan.
I'm on one knee. And listening in, I'm not sitting down, but I've been report. Was Mick having a crack at you? That's the question I've been asked. Was he having a crack at you at the time? I said, no, it was just all purely team. But he sat us down. Yeah, I don't know why.
We've had Sharrod on the podcast, and he's told some good stories about Mick, fond stories. A great coach.
Great coach. Very, very good
he said
coach.
Everyone take a seat.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, take a seat. And he just
that's hilarious.
And with us, that's because Mick's an authoritarian. He's and we've been shit house. And
sit down.
Bang, bang, bang. And we got smacked. We got lost by 66, 11 goals.
It's after the
3/4 time. 3/4 time, we're on the ground and we like school kids.
Sorry, that's
it was embarrassing.
The only time you see people sitting down on a footy field is after a grand final.
Yeah, after
That's
taking
the
an
only
L.
Yeah.
After the grand final, everyone's sitting around.
Yep. So we lose. It got belted in 03. It was embarrassing. Heard ran amok. 04, I didn't play a great one in 03, pretty quiet. 04, played okay, bit of it. Heard Anzac Day medalist again. He only didn't, but he didn't have the impact. I think kicked 2, but they gave it to him again, and we lose by 5. So and I remember 02, I wasn't there, but we win. I come 3, 4, and 5. We get beaten every year, and then 06, 7, I leave. They win. So I was the one.
Curse.
Yeah, got a curse on the end.
Is it like you see some guys? I saw Josh Dunkley spoke about the Easter Monday clash. Now it's not the Anzac clash, but they played for the Royal Melbourne Children's Hospital, and how much it meant to him. He's won a grand final, played in another one. It's as much as a grand final, the feeling and like what it means. Is that the same Anzac Day?
Absolutely. For Collingwood people,
Yeah.
definitely. I had it at Melbourne with the Queen's birthday.
Yeah.
Melbourne, Collingwood, big occasion. That was our home and away big one. But Anzac Day was special for Collingwood, and my first experience of it all, and the lead up to, like Mick, and Mick's been back at the club this week and speaking to the players. Mick draws on the Anzac experience and what's happened yesteryear and years ago, and a wonderful storyteller in this. And it was compulsory for all players. Reserves guys had to go to the dawn service. We had our own service a day or two earlier as players, but we embraced the occasion and what it meant for the country, the club, ourselves, our teammates. And he drew on all the experience, people in talking about it. Unbelievable. That was a highlight for me, and Mick was very, very good at it. He was very good at it. So, yeah, the occasion, and unfortunately they weren't packed crowds, like 60 to 70 back in then because of the stands, but when they get to a 90 to 100, and standing there, last post, deafening silence, hear a pin drop, not one person in the crowd of 100 is speaking, and the last post is going, eerie feeling on the G, eerie, yeah, unbelievable. And to play in three of them, pretty special. OK 04, I was dropped after the 05 one.
So that went well.
That went well.
As a viewer, next to the grand final, it's probably the one when you're watching TV where you're like, the crowd is in this. Like it's, like you said, everyone sort of just buys into feels the occasion.
Yeah.
As a player, it's the one, like I never obviously got to play in one that I would by far, that's the game.
Yep. And it's two clubs who've come together in 95, first one, I think it was. Yeah. And to bring this experience and let everyone embrace it, the whole country, including the AFL, who have bought into it. Yeah, great occasion. It's unbelievable. And I was pretty special to be able to play three of them.
So you finish up 2005, delisted.
Delisted. That was my first year I played reserves footy. That was my first game after the...
I mean, you played over 100 from your debut.
Yeah.
So
my first experience, played for Williamstown that year. So I dropped after the Anzac Day clash, my first one. Again, didn't think I should have, but went with it. Came back in the following week. Dropped a couple more times here. I missed 7 games that year through being dropped. Round 11, about to play Port, and I was having a shower, and Mark Kleiman comes in, who's more footy ops, comes in and goes, "Whoa, I was in the shower. I was always last to leave. You're going to be home tonight?" Yeah, why? Mick wants to come around. Yeah, why? He goes, I don't know. Yeah, I think he said it'll be over about 6:30. So anyway, and sure enough, I shower up, go home. Said, "D, Mick's coming over." Okay. He came over, sat at my kitchen table, round 11, and says, "I thought I'd show you the respect. You need to start looking for a new home." Round 11, I was out the door at the Pies.
Wow.
Middle of the way through my third year. Gutted, shattered. Mate, you serious? I just finished second in the best and fairest in 04, and all of a sudden I'm on the outer here, and he goes, "Yeah, well, mate, I can't get rid of Shane O'Brien, he's 25. I can't get rid of Scott Burns, 12 years, chairman. You're in that middle, you're 29. And we finished 14th the year before. We're about to finish 16th that year, wooden spoon. And as a player, again, emotional. Mate, that's bullshit. But when you look back now in reflection as a coach and you understand decisions that match committees and footy departments are going to make for future, and, you know, they delist me and a couple others and then pick up Pendlebury and Thomas 2 and 5 the next draft, and then 5 years later they win the flag. So you get it. Back at the time I didn't.
Was it in that moment when Mick's in your kitchen? Is that what's that like? Were you angry, or was it just nothing?
Yeah.
Did you go at him?
Bit of both. No, I didn't go at him. Angry, disappointed. Why? Mate, we're mid-year and I'm out of contract at the end of the year. But I probably think, I wish I hadn't run out of contract. Maybe I should have just put another year on after the best and fairest, just to save yourself. But back in those days, that 03, 4, 5, 6 period, birth certificates were huge. You're 29, 30, you're gone. There's no such thing as mature age players coming in and older players. It's all about youth. So I was stuck in the reserves. I was on 194. There was 6 weeks to go. And you're probably going...
could have been like Scully, 194.
Yeah, well,
I'll finish on 194.
Yeah, I'm in the twos and they're playing kids. There's no way I'm coming in. I'm training. I'm asking questions. What's going on? I'm in good form in the twos. But bought back in for the last 6. Played 200 and that's when it finished.
Did Mick do you think Mick knew?
Yep, he knew. He's smart enough to know. And so he got me the 200, which I really, really appreciated.
That's pretty special.
Yeah, it was special. I was done.
Not many people would do that.
No, not many coaches. There you go. There's no sentiment in this game.
Yeah, see ya.
See you later. So there's your 200. But weeks after the year, I still wasn't being told I was delisted. I was on the Gold Coast, and then I rang Barmy, who was the footy manager, said, mate, what's going on? Well, yes or no? Finally got back to me.
It's not funny.
Finally got back to me. Nah, not gonna relist you, mate. That's it. So spoke to a few clubs. Spoke to Clarko. He goes, mate, you're in my best 22. But I promised my members we're going youth. So my birth certificate was killing me then. And that was it.
You were pretty publicly trying to get back on the list, though.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You were doing media. You were doing. You were nominated for the draft. You played with East Freo, winning best and fairest, 2006.
Yeah. I was. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And you were saying, I want to play AFL.
Yeah. I set myself 06 when I came back here. I will prepare as an AFL footballer, not a WAFL player. I'm a full-time job, but I'm here to selfishly still play AFL. But no, I've still got a role and a responsibility to help the kids and East Fremantle Footy Club get back to where they want to be. I left East Fremantle powerhouse end of '96, and the biggest and the most professional WAFL club. And I came back and it was a basket case. And my first training session, I'm going, what am I doing here? This was absurd.
Snake pit.
Yeah, I just go, I've got a bit to do here. But 06 was all about, me going back in at 30. And it was 1% chance, if that. But I'm going to give it a crack.
Did you go close? The end of 06?
No, I didn't. I played state footy, played well in the state game, didn't eventuate, which I knew I probably wouldn't.
People just weren't doing that. Well, I suppose people aren't.
30-year-olds not going to happen.
It's still not happening, is it?
No. So
for a midfielder, maybe like a ruckman.
Possibly, yeah. Yep, definitely, absolutely. So I said, then 07, my second year at East Fremantle, I'm just going to enjoy WAFL footy. I'm here now my time's done. Let's go and have some fun.
So 07, Dan, got to jump in here.
Yeah, I just before we get to 07,
okay.
I just got to ask about the Mick coming over to your house thing.
Yeah.
That drive home after your shower, what are the things you're going through your head? Are you thinking I'm getting dropped, or you're like he just wants to talk, position? Like, what are all the sort of the things that are going through your head where you think, why is he coming to my house?
Not delisting, absolutely not. I was we're gonna drop you again. This is what I want you to focus on the next couple of weeks. Just typical coach-player relationship.
Had he been to your house before?
No. And I don't think he's ever done it to anyone leading up to that. So when I got to Collingwood, so what you see from Mick externally is this abrasive, just wants the world. Fossil. Yeah. But internally, inside those four walls, he is anything but. He is the first person to protect all his players. He's your father. He's your counsellor. He's everything. He builds relationships very, very well, and it wasn't just mine, it was my family's as well. So he really brought me into the club. So those first 2 years were really good. But then I possibly get it in 05. Yes, he's trying to save his job, and he's got to be making decisions in what's best for Collingwood, and I understood that. But I was thinking, what's the next focus for the next 4 weeks? Not start looking for a new club.
Yeah. Wow.
So I spoke to Choco Williams. I was driving down the Kwinana Freeway heading south when I spoke to Choco about possibly going to Port. And he asked me a question, he goes, which was quite strange, and it is Choco. And I remember when I was at the Cot post Grand Final, and I asked him, I said, mate, do you remember this? He didn't. But he said to me, he goes, what do you think of Shane Crawford and his antics on the footy show and what he does? I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, what's your thoughts? Here, I'm just trying to get on the list. I'm not asking about it. I don't care. As long as it doesn't affect the team and the performance, it doesn't matter what Croft does. It's entirely up to him. All good. He's funny. Maybe I gave the wrong answer, so I didn't get an opportunity at Port. But that's what I was asked.
I've got a great Choco Williams story. So draft camp. I get to draft camp, national draft camp when I was getting drafted. You had to be nominated by 5 clubs to get a draft camp. So somehow I got nominated by 5 clubs. I was a surprise all the way through. No one thought I'd make 16 states. No one kind of thought much of me, and obviously my size, and I'd shown enough. Anyway, I go there, didn't think I was going to get interviewed by any clubs. Anyway, no one's getting interviewed by any clubs. I'm leaving dinner on the first night we're there, and sort of similar to you, someone comes to us and said, you're going to meet in this room. Choco Williams wants to speak to you. I'm like, fucking hell, here we go.
Yeah, good.
There was 100 guys there. No one had spoken to clubs. I was the first off the rank, I promise. So go into this dark, dimly lit room. There's a laptop set up and Choco Williams is there. Scully, how are you, mate? Sit down, mate. Sit down. Exactly. Sit down. I say, okay, no worries. He's got a clip on there. He goes, I want to watch this clip. Tell me what you'd do if you were the player with the ball. And I was sort of like half looking at him like, what do you mean? And he goes, all right, ready? It's playing. Here we go. Like, fuck's happening right now? No introduction. And I still remember it because I didn't get drafted by Port. There was a guy kicking out and it was a behind the goals footage and he played it once and he, space bar and then space bar again, like hit it. He goes, what would you do? And like, I've literally walked in out of dinner, sitting in front of the laptop. I've got, he's in his Port kit. There's another, Mick Malthouse was in the other corner with his, zipped up across over his face, looking at me with his glasses. What's going on here? And I sort of said, I kicked long to this option or, kick short here, I never noticed there was no one on the mark. And he wanted me to say play on.
Okay.
So basically I gave about 6 answers and he was going,
No.
Nope. I kicked long here. Nope, that's wrong. Nope. I was like, mate, I had to say, I don't know, mate. And he said, no man on there. Mark, mate, you got to play on. Take the game on. All right, all the best, Will. Have a good one. That was it. Kicked me out.
Brutal.
Never spoke to Port Adelaide again.
No.
And that was it. Never got drafted by Port Adelaide.
There's a line through it. Was going.
Yeah, correct. I look back on it.
That's a bit rough. That's like he was never wearing a
He
tie
was
at all.
He was abstract though, mate.
Yeah, very much so.
Strange.
Very much
he's
so.
still working in the game today.
Yeah.
So 2007, right? So you play 1 year at East Freo, your second year at East Freo, you want to enjoy your footy. I genuinely don't have a good memory of footy, but I don't know why this sticks in my brain, and it 100% does. It's a memory of you and I don't know if you remember it. So I was playing for Peel that year. It's my first year, Peel Thunder. Just remember I came into the footy club, couldn't do one chin-up, right? So I was an absolute piece of shit. Skinny runner, doing whatever. And I was down at Peel, probably getting, 15 touches a game, absolute pleb. And I see on the fixture, East Fremantle, Taj Woewodin, Brownlow medalist playing. And although I was all of this, all these physical attributes, I've always had in me this, white line, gotta go.
Chirp.
Gotta go. I gotta go at the best player. So I, a 17-year-old, Taj Woewodin, 31-year-old, maybe, Brownlow medalist, I just go, Shane. And
I think I do. Is that pre-game?
Oh, who knows? Probably.
All of it, yeah.
So what I do remember is, I reckon post-game, I shook your hand and I had to apologise. I remember apologising to you.
Do remember
and you were
that.
filthy. And you were filthy at me. And fair enough. And I look back on it. Fair
What
enough.
were you doing?
I just like being a little shit. I was a
chirping.
17-year-old, 18-year-old
Right.
going worst Brownlow, the same as probably
I
everyone
do.
else.
Yeah, little recollections. Yeah, I do.
Brown, and I remember while I shook his hand. I always, and you know me, I always put my hand up. And
I
say,
gave you
I'm
nothing?
wrong. Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Probably went back at you.
Professional.
So, no, you gave me nothing, which is why I remember it. I shook your hand and I said, mate, hope it didn't go too far today. Gave a what I thought a pretty genuine apology. And you just looked at me with these eyes. I just remember these eyes, this look like, I'll kill you. If you come near me again, I'll kill you. Do you remember it?
Yeah,
I personally remember it. And that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It feels like you're ringing some bells.
Yeah, and it's amazing how little things are brought up by others, and you start to have a little recollection of what happened, and not knowing what actually was said.
It doesn't sit with me every night, but when I knew I was having a chat, I was like, I reckon I remember.
I sprayed Al Nicholson once, ex-team on my first time I played against Melbourne. He fumbled in his D50, and he's a mate of mine. He's a West Australian. He was a teammate of mine, and I've gone over and I've gone him and sprayed him. Biggest regret on the footy field. That's one regret I do have is standing over him when he's on the ground and giving it to him. Yeah, terrible mistake.
That's funny because that's what my feeling is, and I don't regret too much that happens on the footy field. I generally think just go out there, what happens.
Yeah.
But the look you gave me made me regret it.
Yeah.
You made me regret my actions, which you won.
Oh,
You completely
waffle
won.
footy, isn't it? No, bloody hell.
So then you go into coaching. What's your coaching career? We'll wrap things up shortly, but coaching East Freo and then into assistant coach at Brisbane.
Yep. So coach straight out of playing, had a crack at the senior job at East Fremantle. There was about 5 or 6 candidates. I didn't think I'd get it. I thought I'd do it for the experience. I bloody got it. First year coach, no idea what I'm doing, but I'll have a crack at it. The fact that I knew the playing group and I knew exactly what needed to be done which was important. But it was a learning curve, particularly 8 and 9, and then my final year 10. Got into the finals for the first time in a decade, which was really exciting. But then I had Kane Lucas, Brad Shepherd, Jamie Cripps. I had some speed and youth, and it was unbelievable. It was good fun. 5 goals up, 3 in during the third, and we got done by East Perth in the first semi. I was gutted. I thought we could have won it, but I decided after that year, and I ummed and ahed on a 3rd or 4th year, but Michael Voss approached me to come to Brisbane. So I jumped at it and thought, I've got to get in the system and see how far I can take it. So I went over to become mids coach, stoppage coach for the first 4 years. 3 years with Vossi, 1 with Leper, and then my final 2 years with Leper, I coached the NEFL team and went back and coached the kids, which was another experience in itself. Some good times. I remember getting beaten by 180.
Oh my gosh.
We played GWS at GWS as a curtain raiser to the senior team. We got beaten by 180 to 184. We had 6 listed players, 5 of them rookies, 1 first year.
Who else was playing? Local NEFL players.
Yeah, so back then we didn't have what they have now. They'd have their academy players joining them. So we're getting them from everywhere around Brisbane, Sunny Coast, South Coast, wherever they can get. No, thanks, mate. No, it'll burn me.
Not this stuff. This whippersnapper stuff. As good as it gets. Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
So we bring them from everywhere. We'll bring them day before a game from the Sunny Coast just to get them in. 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds who haven't played at this level. We're just scrapping to get a team. We played GWS, who has 22 listed plus 1 academy. That academy player, Jacob Hopper, who had 35 that day. And we got beaten by 180. So quarter time, I go down.
Like before they join the league or something to get some like.
So it's the reserves comp,
right,
in the NEFL. So it's now at the VFL, which is inclusive of the NEFL.
They were playing in. Yes, you're right. They were playing in the reserves comp.
Yeah.
To prepare to join the AFL. Is that right?
No, that's
so that was their.
That's our reserves.
Oh, that was just their sure. Yeah, right.
So the Brisbane Lions, Gold Coast Suns, GWS.
Yep, with you.
Some Brisbane teams, the Thunder in the Northern Territory, and so we played GWS, and we got absolutely mauled. And at quarter time, I've gone down and gone, I'm not going back up in the box. I just need to be here for these kids and learn to coach from the sidelines and just make decisions and a bit of fun. But oh my goodness, it was a train wreck.
Coaching's a tough caper.
I
mean, Michael Voss, that's an interesting one. Like he comes in pretty much player coach, sort of straight in. He was going to be at West Coast. He was. I did
100%.
Mate, no, he was.
Yeah, he was in.
I was at a function. It was the season launch breakfast, and Michael Voss gave this speech. I still remember it today.
That's so weird.
No,
kids were in school here.
Yeah, he was in his polo. He was the midfield coach. He gave this speech, and he said, I still remember it. He said, I never snooze my alarm. He said, I'm coming in here to set standards at this footy club, and one of them will be. Obviously, he said, I never hit snooze my alarm in my life, and every one of these midfielders, they'll never hit snooze again. And that was kind of the start of his speech. 2 days later, he was the head coach of Brisbane.
Lee Matthews gave him a call and said, "Come and coach."
See you later, West Coast.
Yeah.
So he's obviously been and gone at Brisbane. I know you don't know what's happening at Carlton, but it looks like he's changed a lot as a person. He's grown a lot. That was grown a lot 10 years ago.
Would have learned a lot because I think Vossi was very much. In my time at Brisbane, and because he'd taken him to finals in 2009, but Vossi was very much about offense, not sure a lot about defense, and things changed, but he would have learned a lot under Ken at Port, and particularly defensively, I reckon, and be able to manage them both. And mate, I reckon when you're 8 years out and you're doing something different for the second time under someone else, learning new stuff, you take that to your club. He was always going to coach again.
He matured as well.
Oh, absolutely.
He's probably like if you're further away from being a player, so you lose that. Kind of like I assume same as Bucks. What I do is on the field and train, and you need to play like that. You'll probably lose that as you get older.
Oh, absolutely. But geez, the stuff I learned off Vossi, and just because I was the mids coach, and Vossi and I went toe to toe against each other multiple occasions, midfielder v midfielder, and brutal. But the stuff we taught each other, and particularly he taught me as a coach to coach the mids around craft and technical stuff was unbelievable.
Genius.
A genius. And no wonder you're a star. I remember when you did that against me. Yeah. So things he learnt. Yeah, he would be the first to admit the mistakes he made, particularly probably more from a relationship side of things and probably being too much in the computer and not enough with his players. Whereas now, and again, second time around, and look at him already.
From afar, he just seems like a different guy, and that's just a comment from afar.
Yeah,
he seems.
But even what you hear out of Carlton too, from the playing group point of view too, they're invested, they're all in. So I'm wrapped for Vossi. It's so good to see him back, being successful again.
Last one, we're about to do social media, which I'm sure you know about. Well, it's a very big segment on podcasting that I don't even need to answer from that. Before you get there, must have been a really proud moment for you, your son Taj getting picked up, father-son, to Melbourne.
Absolutely.
What was that like?
2 moments for me.
Yeah.
October 12. Taj has always been a Melbourne person, always. I've never pushed him to be a Melbourne red and blue. It's been in his blood. He's a supporter.
Yeah.
He was at the 18 prelim as a supporter with his mum.
How did that go for him? Sorry.
He was brutally, verbally bashed in the lifts
By his mates or random?
by West Coast supporters because he had his Jack Viney jumper on.
Fans of
It's amazing. He's brutally on. But, we got belted that day. And for him to play for Melbourne was, it's always been a dream. He wanted to play AFL footy, and that's all he's ever really worked for. So
2 moments.
October 12 is when we were in his manager's office and the club, we're on a Zoom, and the club's nominated him. He's accepted. So when Jason Taylor says, we're going to nominate you, that moment and watching his face straight away, and then the moment we had out in the car park where we embraced each other, a few tears, that was unbelievable. Knowing the fact, mate, you are now going to be drafted. That's the advantage of being a father-son. Now, there's no guarantees you'll be at Melbourne if you're bidded on, but you're going to be drafted. And then obviously draft night when the name's officially read out and you're on a list, on a primary list, that moment with the family and friends and his friends going berserk in the lounge room, they're the moments. And everything I did in my career passed in significance to those 2 moments because you live through your kids. You do everything for your kids and you want them to be the best they can be and achieve everything they do in life. And those 2 moments far outweigh anything I did in my career.
Is he going to be a better player than Shane?
I think he will. Yeah, who knows? But he's a better 18-year-old than I am. Than I was.
But in the end, it doesn't matter,
doesn't matter. He's there. And he knows now that he's only at the front door. All the work, he's got to push it open and smash it in and be the player he wants to be. But he's in a great environment, learning from the best. Just got to bide his time now to get a game and in a premiership team, which he's okay with.
What's that like, that father-son, I guess, relationship, you being a star of the AFL and him growing up and seeing you play and then, you finishing up? Is it something that has he naturally wanted to play AFL? Like this is something he's wanted to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. From a very young age. And he wasn't as gifted as what others were, probably very similar to me, through his junior days. He didn't play state 16s. He got dropped, or he got cut for state 16s. I said, mate, you don't have to be the best 16-year-old in the land. Who cares? It's only 2 years away. Yeah, wait till you're 18 and then you start showcasing yourself. But
might have been good for him, right?
Absolutely. He got told by Benny Dyer, the state 16s coach, we're at Rotto, and I remember the occasion. He walked off on the phone and come back just emotional. His world had crashed. Yeah. Said, no, that's where you step in and help as a parent, and then went to work. And the one thing I've never, ever had to teach him is what you got to do to get to where you want to go to. He's just been as dedicated as everything and working on his craft, his game, what he needs to be good at, make his weapons, and then the rest will follow itself. And he's learnt different roles over the last 3 years before he was drafted, and he's been given his chance and earned the reward because he's put the work in. It takes no genius to understand how much hard work you've got to put to get in there. But as I said, he understands he's only at the door.
What number is he?
40.
What number are you?
22.
Okay.
So he was asked, do you want your dad's number? No. no, you can forge your own career and make it your own. So
What position did he play? It's ignorant by me. But
yeah, so he played halfback, which I think was a great idea by Quentin Lynch when he was at Aquinas. Lynchy put him to halfback for the school year of his bottom year. His year 12 year.
Got him sort of coming at the ball.
Yeah, just seeing it from different. Plays a running back, learn to drop off when you need to, use your skills coming out of halfback because his weapon's his leg and his hand. So that was a great learning curve for him to be behind the ball, learn how to defend, don't just be running around with the midfielder and do those things. And then halfback with East Fremantle that year when school finished. And then last year they wanted to see him work on his inside game. So get around the contest and do that. So he plays inside mid when he captained East Fremantle last year. So he learnt both, which was great for him. Really, really good. And then, the Ds have been on the watch for a couple of years. But yeah, they took him.
Nothing better for his development to be around good players as well.
Yeah.
You know, just my opinion, because it happened to me as well. I got drafted to West Coast 2006, right? So I went to a premiership team. I would have much rather my development, played 3 games in my first year, it was barely a sniff, but to learn from, I still look back on my time looking at Judd, Cousins, Cox, Embley, Kerr, Lynch, like all these guys that Glass, like I think about how they trained and how they worked. If I'd have come into a club where it was bottom rung, I wouldn't have learnt those things.
Yeah.
That's those standards. And that flowed through the generations just directly below me as well. Maston's year, Natanui, Shuey, all those guys learnt off those guys.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Couldn't agree with you more.
It's a good. He's not going to play round one.
No.
He's just not going to play round one.
No,
but he'll learn.
That's right. Petrarca, Oliver, Viney, Langdon.
Yeah,
these boys.
Just a few names there.
Out.
Yeah, well, that's it. And Goody, Uze, mids who played the game at the highest level. Great education, great learning.
I want to see if he played a bit in the back line, I want to see him keep 40 on his back. That would be unreal. Play some games in 40.
Yeah,
make the locker your own.
Yeah.
No, these swapping to the lower numbers.
We'll see what happens in 12 months, 2 years' time.
All right, now, very importantly, social media, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Powered by Cameo. You're on Cameo, Wowie? You know what Cameo is?
I've heard of Cameo, not on
I
it.
might have to get the Brownlow medalist on the Cameo. Cameo celebrity shout-outs, right? So it's, someone wants a nice little birthday party. I want a Brownlow medalist just saying happy birthday, happy 30th.
There's a few around, isn't there?
Yeah, but Cameo's the
Cameo's
best,
the
mate.
one?
Yep, Cameo's
Actually,
the one.
I just yesterday did one for
So
for
Dan.
someone named Maddie, and it costs like because I've set my price so low. It's a bit of a joke, but I set my price so low it was like $3.99, and I told this girl Maddie, I was like, hey, by the way, this guy Tim just bought this birthday message, costs $3.99. Make sure you hit him up for something else. Like if this is your only present, this ain't good. But Maddie, happy birthday.
All right, well, Cameos are around us. You can find Dan, you can find me, and maybe Shane a little bit later.
I'll jump on.
So social media, the fans send in questions. They get to ask you the questions, right? I think there's some names here you'll know potentially as well. The Jaden.
How's Collingwood FC compared to Melbourne?
I heard
We've
that.
sort of covered that a bit.
Yep. Taj, Mart 17. I don't think it's Taj.
How did you like the PSA system at Aquinas? How did it prepare you for the AFL?
I never played PS. Is that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't play PSA. I was at Kent Street, so no
There you
PSA
go.
back then.
Taj does not know the facts.
So how was it just going through the public school system? Building you up from the bottom. How
It
good.
was a quick cut back then.
Sharad W _
Oh, here we go.
Who's your favourite expert to work with at the ABC?
He's a fuckhead.
Probably.
Oh, Sharad, it's you, mate.
So he actually had a couple more questions to throw.
Oh, Brawny be filthy too if I didn't mention Brawny.
Actually, not. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Brawny's very good too. Now, I actually just came meeting a couple of guys, one of whom played in a charity football match with you, and he said to ask how your calves were. Potentially pinged a calf a month ago.
It wasn't
Was
potentially, yeah.
Pinged
a calf. I done my hammy pre-Christmas. Cuz rang me up, said, mate, I need you to play.
Cuz he rings you.
I'm
Drop
playing.
everything.
Yeah, I haven't played with Ben since '95, so I'll go.
Thanks, Freo boy.
Yeah, got rehab my hammy, got it right back in.
For the game.
Oh, and I did everything right. Tested myself the Thursday night to make sure I'm right to go. Don't make a dick of myself. End of the first quarter, start of the second. Handball received from Pritis. Ping. Calf gone.
Brownlow.
The Brownlow connection.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And Sharad also said, what did he say about? No, you went there. He said you were always knocked up, always getting knocks and injured to your head or something. So
Has he got that from Mick, or is that, I've told him a story?
Is
Yeah,
that-
Mick said Mick made a comment one day to me that I was the most bloodiest player he's ever seen.
What do you mean?
Like, I got stitches in my forehead, in my eyebrows. I got that many. And he goes, Mick made a comment one day, it's because you fumble. You have to go back on it, and that's when you go back on it, you get whacked.
Right.
So that's bullshit, but
You reckon you get stitches because you
he
fumbled?
fumbled. He made that comment one day. So, mate,
I'm sure
come on, Mick.
Probably Joel Selwood takes that now, right? He's-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Every
every
game.
well, he was before, so mate. Don't worry about that. All right, this is a good one. Well, maybe not. I don't know if you're sensitive about this change. Saxon _Sourness.
Do you regret the frosted tips?
Absolutely not. Trendsetter,
You bringing them back?
Actually,
bleach.
mate, you seen some of the boys running around these days?
Yeah, these boys, Guelphy, Ginnivan, Collingwood.
Jordan De Gaulle, he's been
Yeah,
rocking it for years.
mate,
I see
did it-
Darcy Moore rolling around with blonde tips.
I did it 99 for the first. 98, I tipped it. Cap first.
Oh, yeah.
Too much pain. When
That
it
hurt. I've done that before.
I probably did it 99 too.
Fuck, holy hurt. And then went, you know what? Bugger it. I'm going full head bleach.
Great.
I remember walking in the club with a hat on. Walk in. Gary Lyon walks in, tips the hat, shakes the head, puts it back on. Didn't say a word. Well, you don't give that to Stephen Tingay when he does it. And Stinger's been around, one of my idols. But yeah, and then I went, no, it's too much now. It's starting to fall out, I think. So that's when I went the foils and did the full head of foils.
2000. You have a blonde hair. Do you reckon that one that helped with the Brownlow? No,
Possibly.
Not one.
Maybe the boots.
What were the boots?
Yeah, Puma.
Oh, very
All
good.
over the Puma.
Thank you, Prima.
Strength.
Yeah, Paul _O_91.
After winning the Brownlow, what does the after party look like?
No after party. That party was
Maybe
island
a
trip.
party.
Yeah, no party. We had a grand final party. Got abused by the coach pre the night. Yeah, we walked. So grand final finished. Go back to Crown. Losers.
Yep. It's a
yeah,
shocking,
it's a shocker.
shocking function.
We go upstairs as a playing group first before the function. Get on the beers. A little bit rowdy. We know we've been beaten. We've been embarrassed. We know that. Coach walks in, storms, rips shreds off us for celebrating too much.
Ugh.
And then, not a great way now to enjoy the evening.
Morbid.
Bit of a dampener on it.
The after party that year was All Australian. I wasn't All Australian. I was invited on the tour in Ireland. So that was our party.
Nice.
Yeah, that was
good.
yeah.
That wasn't the brawling ones with the Scots, was it?
No, 2000. So we would have drank.
No, Michael, sorry.
So we were there for 11 days, 2 games. So there's 9 days. 9 days of drinking. Just prepare for the game, and we just bashed them. It was good fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that tour.
That's unreal. Oh, how good.
I remember we walked back from Temple Bar one night. So we're walking back to the hotel, the Berkeley Court, at 5 a.m, I reckon. And as we're walking in the lobby, Dermot Brereton, coach, he's walking out. So yeah, mate, good times.
That's great.
Good times.
G'day, Derm. 2 more. Tim _.
Fillet of fish, yay or nay?
McDonald's fillet of fish.
No,
Yeah.
no,
It's an absolute no.
no. Rotten.
You haven't tried it, have you?
Oh, years and
It's gotten
years.
better. It's gotten better.
Has it? Not even
Much
tempted. Doesn't even excite me.
No, it doesn't
No.
even interest you.
No.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'll be very
Bottom of the
surprised
pile.
if we find a guest that says yes, then we'll delete the episode and we'll never.
Yeah, is that
play
one of your favourites?
Oh,
Yeah, it's good.
well, it's
It's
embarrassing.
yuck, yeah.
I was forced to eat one. We tipped over a subscriber milestone. I ate one on the podcast. It was
Oh.
Double
putrid.
fillet.
Putrid.
Absolute
Double.
It was
that's
lucky
even
to be
more.
fish.
Yeah.
It really was. Last one. I mean, this is a good one to finish on, I think. Harry.J012.
What would it take to bring back the frosted tips?
Funny you asked that.
Good.
Because my kids, and particularly my daughters, even Taj to a lesser extent, last year, wanted me to bring it back.
Wow.
I went, mate, that's a big ask. At 45 years of age,
It is.
it's a big ask. You know what? But I said, I will do it on one thing, that it is for charity not a problem at all. I'll do it for charity, but you have to organise it. It can't be any of me. It's yet to be done. So
You're not going
I'm
to be out there
safe.
folding foils.
What
getting it
are the
already.
kids' names? Let's do a little quick shout out to the kids because I want to see the frosted tips
Yeah,
back.
so Sienna and Summer,
Okay.
my two good daughters. And Taj was a little bit to it. They wanted it, but I said, that's okay. I've got no problem doing it, but it will have to be for a really good charity. But you have to organise this, everything.
Summer, Sienna, Taj. How much do you want it? How much do you want to see the blonde tips? Because I personally want to see them. So I want to see them back on. Mate, it's been a pleasure. Genuinely a remarkable footy story. Appreciate the time, mate. Been a great chat. Hopefully you've had fun too.
It's been great. Yeah, no, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah. You happy with that, mate?
Very happy.
If you want to find us, you can find us on backchatpodcast.com.au. Wally?
Yep.
You're writing this
Definitely.
down?
It's your homepage.
Hello
I'm on.
at backchatpodcast.com.au is the email. You can find us on socials, backchat _ on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're on Reddit. Don't know what we do there. You're on YouTube. You can subscribe to that, Wally. You need to subscribe to that. Cameo, yeah. Whippersnapper, thank you very much. These shelters were pretty good.
Blue bet.
There you go. Blue Bet, thank you very much.